Way back in 1999, just as the Kargil War was winding down, I had the opportunity to interview two remarkable women, Gunjan Saxena and Sreevidya Rajan. They were among India's first women combat aviators. Both flew into the Kargil war zone, a detail that our story, a version of which you will see on this program, did identify. That story, in a way, inspired the production of the film Gunjan Saxena, The Kargil Girl, a film that depicts the life of Gunjan, a film that's been criticized by the Indian Air Force's veterans in not representing the IAF accurately. Film critics, on the other hand, have given it a firm thumbs up by and large. But now there is new controversy. 21 years later, Sreevidya has gone on record to say that she was the first woman flyer into Kargil, not Gunjan. And so what we thought that we would do was interview both of them with some straight questions. This is a special interview, 21 years after the original interview and story, the images of which you see on your screen right now. We've got both of them on this program, one after the other, and answering questions which I can assure you none had expected to be answering all these years later. First, I'm joined by Sreevidya Rajan. Sreevidya, it's good to actually see you 21 years later. I mean, the last time we met was in Udhampur. 21 years later, why did you feel it was important for you to come out and clarify what you say is the record, that you were the first into the Kargil war zone and not Gunjan?
Thank you very much. And it is good to see you too. I responded to this, and I made a FB post because that too after 21 years of this Kargil thing happened, it is purely because of the movie. I felt the movie showed Indian Air Force and the officers in a negative light, and which is incorrect. I am the first pilot to fly, woman pilot to fly in Kargil area that time. And I went with the first batch of the pilots. Then when the second batch was sent, that is the time Gunjan came along with them. And I never wanted to, portray that it was me who went and did all this first, because I'm not here for fame. I'm not interested in any fame. But having said that, I wanted to set the record right. So after watching the movie, even the movie is not even mentioning me anywhere. They're changing the history.
Sure.
They're changing the facts. It is showing that she was the only one who was posted to Udhampur and flying in Kargil. That is also wrong. Yeah. And as I said, IF and other male officers were also shown in a poor light. They have flown much more than us. They have got so much of experience, and they have faced much hardships there for flying so long. Yeah. And none of them got any recognition, or their names are also not shown anywhere. Okay. I always believed in gender equality. So that's why I thought only for being a woman, if you are being given this fame, I did not want to take that.
So Sreevidya, what were some of the operations which you believe you were the first into the Kargil war zone and doing? Could you tell us a little bit about the operations that you were involved in when you first started out flying into Kargil?
Okay. We did communication sorties, supply drops, and we did casualty evacuation also. Whichever aircraft was flying into Kargil Valley, whenever we come back from there, we were asked to take any casualties there wherever possible. So these are the main duties I did. Like whatever was assigned to the rest of the pilots, we were also given the same thing. So we did that.
And do you have any rough idea how many sorties you actually flew in the Kargil war zone?
I don't know. I haven't checked that. And as I told you again before, that I'm not here to claim the credit that I'm Sure. the first woman pilot. I know, and we have flying records in the Air Force, as well as my unit pilots. They're also, we have logbooks. The record is there. But I'm not here to claim that. My issue is with the movie where they have portrayed the entire thing in a negative role.
And Sreevidya, where does that leave you and Gunjan? And the reason I ask is because you've been friends, you've been fellow aviators, and the two of you have gone through a lot of challenges to rise up the Air Force at a time when there were very few women aviators. You were together on this film and now in a very different situation. How do you feel about that?
Exactly. We have gone through a lot. As the movie is brought up, we have worked really hard against all hardship and reached here. And after reaching here also, we have undergone 1.5 years of training there. And after all this, when we reached the unit also, initially there were little bit of problems, which I do not want to highlight because it is all fresh pilots from the training stage for getting posted to any operational unit. They are facing this, irrespective of the gender. We all go through that. And the seniors will make us professionally tough. And, if we make a mistake, we will be given punishment or whatever they'll teach us in a different way. But there was no differentiation there. And between me and Gunjan, as we are postmates, we are very good friends. We were together in two postings. That is almost 8 years of our service we spent together. And there is nothing wrong in our relationship. I totally respect her. She's a very nice person, a very accomplished officer. I mean, there is no problem between us. Actually, yesterday also we spoke to each other. There is no fight, nothing. And as you must have seen my FB post, I just wanted to set the record right for the future generation of the girls. When they see this movie, they will. I don't think it is not inspirational for them. They will be scared of seeing all this.
Sure. Sreevidya, now there was a certain way in which this was portrayed. While in our report, I had always said that there were two of you, India's first women combat aviators. I think that's how I had mentioned the two of you. There were previous stories which had identified Gunjan as the first. There was an article, for example, in the Outlook. And later on, over a period of time, there seemed to be a sense within the Air Force that Gunjan was the first. Did you not feel it important to correct this? Because this seems to be something which the Air Force at so many levels also perhaps believed for such a long time.
Yes, that time, as you know, when the whole thing started, as I mentioned, I went with the first batch. So that time the media was not allowed to come into the Air Force station. And we were not allowed to give any information about the operations or whatever is taking place there. So when one journalist called me up, during my time, I gave only the basic information about me, nothing about the operations. And while I was there in Srinagar, no media came. And after the crew replacement took place, that is the time the media was allowed inside. And the people, maybe Gunjan and other pilots had given out the interview. So based on that, they must have given, they must have reached the conclusion that she is the first one. Air Force, as you know, like Kargil, immediately after Kargil days, we did not celebrate Kargil Vijay Divas every year. It just happened a few years back. Yeah. So that time, nobody, must have given much thought to it, how it is going to come. When the movie came out and then they said that there's only one pilot, lady pilot, posted there and flown in Kargil, then I thought I must speak up. And plus, the entire Air Force and officers were portrayed in a really bad way.
Okay.
So that's why
so it's important that
now.
That you felt that the record needs to have been set straight. Sreevidya, it's been nice speaking to you.
One more point I would like to...
Yes, go ahead. Please, go ahead.
Yeah. You see, as I said in my post, I always believed in gender equality. Okay. So that's what we fought right from the beginning. We fought for that. And we wanted our own place. So after all these things, when the fame only came for the women. So now if I go ahead and ask for the fame, that is against my ideals. So which I don't stand for, that is the reason I never spoke before this. But as I said again and again, the movie is sending out a negative feel to all the girls out there. And I want them to not to believe that. They should come out and join Air Force, because it is a really good organization.
Sure.
It is a good future, and flying is a wonderful profession.
It is indeed. Do you miss flying? You were a
Oh,
short
yes,
commission,
definitely.
officer. You never flew once you retired, did you, Sreevidya?
No, I did not actually. I'm medically boarded out from Air Force, so I have not flown.
Not flown. Sreevidya, thank you very much for speaking us. Thanks very much for joining us.